Well, one of the standout moments for me at the Grammy Awards, well, not the actual awards themselves, but this, Madonna, looking like she got the wrong date for Halloween. Well, now she's taken to Instagram to say many people chose only to talk about close-up photos of me. God forbid that anyone would photograph Madonna taken with a long lens camera by a press photographer that would distort anyone's face. Once again, I'm caught in the glare of ageism and misogyny that permeates the world we live in, a world that refuses to celebrate women past the age of 45. Well, here to discuss this, podcaster and comedian James Barr, Talk TV contributor Esther Krakow, associate editor of the Daily Mirror, Kevin Maguire. So, Kevin, I woke up this morning to Madonna because I had past comment of a critical nature about Madonna, and she tweeted, "The world is threatened by my power and my stamina, my intelligence and my will to survive, but they will never break me. This is all the test." And there was a very filtered picture of herself, which had clearly been through the filtering mincer. So here's my thing about Madonna, Kevin. I think she is an absolute joke now. And I say that as somebody who was a massive fan. I literally went to see her on the holiday tour, one of the greatest pop stars at her peak I've ever seen. She has become an embarrassing shambles, quite deliberately. And when I saw these pictures, I once again thought, my God, what's she done to herself? But B, the constant attention seeking. She was making horrible sexual signs with Sam Smith. She was doing all sorts of stuff as normal, the normal attention seeking. And the act doesn't play when you're in your mid-60s.
Would you have been outraged if Mick Jagger was doing that?
I have
in the same way? I mean,
he doesn't do what she does.
Yeah, but come on, she is a victim of ageism
and
misogyny, but at the same time...
She's a victim of her own narcissism.
She's always out there trying to get noticed, and if you go out there and try and get noticed, you're going to get jeers as well as cheers.
James Bond, you're a self-confessed Madonna superfan.
Yes.
Is she a victim of ageism and misogyny?
Absolutely, and the fact that we're sat here, three men discussing misogyny is misogynistic.
Why?
So Kevin is...
Well, men can't discuss women.
You don't get an opinion on whether Madonna is telling her truth or not. That's her truth.
What is her truth?
That people are being misogynistic towards her, and that a woman over 45 is not allowed or permitted to be sexy in the eyes of people like you.
There is only the truth. There's not people's versions of it. We're not on the Meghan and Harry podcast, right? So you can't just say her truth. No, there are facts. The fact is she's done stuff to her face surgically, which means when she goes out now, we all shriek in horror.
I think it's quite rude to say that you shriek in horror.
I literally did. It's like a Halloween costume.
But ultimately, Piers, you've met Madonna. You called her rude when you met her.
She was incredibly rude every time I met her, but I don't hold that against her.
It sounds like you do.
No,
actually,
just let me wrong.
Women are allowed to be...
They're allowed to be rude little madams, and she is, right? No problem at all.
No, women are allowed to not like you, Piers.
Absolutely
and
fine.
that doesn't give you permission to then attack them in front of millions of people.
Not a problem at all. She can hate my guts. It doesn't mean I can't pass comment on her without being called immediately misogynist.
But is anyone discussing how you look, and would
all
you
the
be
time.
okay with that?
Literally, I get fat-shamed all the time, even though, as you can see, I'm basically emaciated, right? And this is a new regime, by the way. It's a new year, new me, and it's all just falling off.
Right,
sure. But you know why? Because I got fat-shamed. I actually think it's good. And Madonna needs to listen to proper friends who say to her, "What the hell are you doing to your face, love?" Right? Yeah. Look at that. It's like the bride of Wildersteen.
It's not misogyny to notice that she looks crazy. I'm a huge Madonna fan.
Well, it's wrong to say that she looks crazy.
But she does look crazy. If this was my friend, I would be like, ma'am,
you look terrible.
You look like a loaf of Warburtons. Like, if she was my friend, seriously. I think the issue here is she is too rich to be looking this crazy. I have no problem with cosmetic surgery. There are loads of celebrities that have had it done. The aim is not to look crazy. I'm a huge fan of her, and I just think she's too established. She's too much of an icon to do this to herself.
What you're missing
and then blame it on misogyny. It's not misogynistic to notice.
Is that she's telling you why, perhaps, in your opinion, she looks the way she looks.
Which
and
is
she's
crazy.
been a victim. It's not crazy.
She's not
a mental health condition.
Even you don't think she's a victim.
I do think she's a victim of misogyny, of ageism, of people like you saying she's not sexy and that she's not permitted to be sexy in her 60s.
I didn't say she wasn't sexy. I just said that when someone is that desperate, I mean, she releases picture after picture of herself, naked, lying under beds, all sorts of kissing toy boys. It's all attention-seeking narcissism. Fine. Yeah. What you can't do is look at this picture here. Now, the idea I can't criticise that picture and say that is desperate for a woman in her 60s.
I mean,
and without you saying you're being ageist and misogynist. No, I'm not, James Barr.
Look at her. She's hot. Yeah. That's a hot piece of...
I mean, that looks like a dead cockroach.
No,
Imagine if that was your great-grandmother, which, by the way, she's old enough to be.
It's honestly like a...
It looks like
a crime scene, doesn't it? That's what it does.
Yeah, it looks like a squash.
If that was I don't know if your grandparents are still alive.
No, sadly, my nan is not here anymore.
But imagine if she was and that was her, and she released that picture.
I would love that.
Really?
Yeah, I've got friends whose grandmas are on OnlyFans.
If
like,
my
get out
grandmother
there.
had done that, I'd have to have a quiet word, right?
I think you'd probably be feeling a little uncomfortable, but mainly because you might be finding it attractive.
Here's my point. I don't think you can behave the way Madonna behaves and not expect criticism. To then play the victim when you deliberately provoke people, I think is absurd. It would be like me playing the victim when I give it out large with my opinions and then say, and someone says to me, oh, stop being so disgusting, bitch. Oh, my God, I'm a victim. No, don't be ridiculous.
Look, I see a lot of it as embarrassing. I look at Helen Mirren, who I think must be a bit older and is really sexy in a very different way. But some of the criticism she gets is motivated because of her age and because she's a woman. Because she gets more criticism than blokes.
She wants to play the 25-year-old sex part, and she's 64, right? And I'm sorry, Esther, but I would say the same about Mick Jagger when he's overdone it, the old, strolling bone thing on stage. It's like, come on, mate, put it away.
And he needs to stop having children. Look, I don't think it's misogyny to notice when someone's acting nuts, right, or looking ridiculous.
Again, I don't think you can say that she's
this as
nuts.
a huge fan of Madonna. She doesn't need to do this.
She is a bit nuts, James. Come on.
She is, and I like that about. Look, listen.
No, so sane person behaves like that.
She is Madonna. She's an icon. She will always be an icon. This is completely unnecessary, and it's not ageism or sexism or misogyny to notice that this is unnecessary.
But by the way, look, James, here's the point. You bought tickets to her concert. Millions of other people have and will. It'll be a smash hit. She's not a victim. She might be many other things, but all this does is fuel this sort of furore around Madonna, and she'll make even more money and sell even more tickets. But it's just the playing the victim which got my goat this morning. It's like, Madonna, of all things, stick it back to me. Call me a rough old English twerp, whatever you want to call me. I don't care. I don't care. But don't play the victim because it's pathetic.
I don't think it's pathetic that she's just sold out a world tour of 30-plus dates in seconds. I don't think that's pathetic
I think it's
at all.
absolutely baffling. But if you want to go and watch her prancing around in her 60s, looking like that, enjoy your show, James.
Thank you so much.
Good to see
in the
you.
words of Madonna, there's no greater power than the power of goodbye.
Indeed. James, goodbye. That seems slightly immaterial, girl. Anyway, next...
Yes.
See you
next
tonight.